lawless, unforgiving Old West. One man tried to bury his past, only to discover that some nightmares never stay buried. Newly appointed Sheriff Harley Brogdon thought he'd left trouble behind, until ancient terrors from Native American legend clawed their way out of the cold earth. Bronze Star 2 is the thrilling continuation of the critically acclaimed Weird Western series by Eisner Award-winning writer Mike Baron and legendary artist Pat Broderick, co-creator of Creature Commandos. Return to Cobb's Gap, where every bullet fired is a deadly gamble, and every shadow may conceal an unimaginable horror. The legend rides again, deeper into darkness, into a series of hellish nightmares that will haunt you long after the final page. 2 chilling journeys into the heart of the Weird West await you in Bronze Star 2. Pre-order the pulse-pounding sequel now at bronzestarcomic.com.
Good morning, Midnight's Edge fans. We're here to tell you that we have so much more to offer you now at our Mixed Tees store. Not just t-shirts and hoodies, but we do have plenty of those, and new designs for that matter. You can also get mugs, and of course our brand new limited Amber Turds stained blanket. That's right, just for your bed or wherever you need it. So head on over to Mixed Tees now and get all your apparel and goodies from Midnight's Edge.
Get up, wake up, this is your final warning. It's time for Midnight's Edge in the morning. The gang is ready to go, and it's time for the show. It's time for Midnight's Edge in the morning.
Good morning and greetings, everybody. Welcome to the program. It is Monday. Time for some Midnight's Edge in the morning. We have Andre the Boss Man. How you doing?
I'm doing excellent. Greetings, everyone. Glad to be here and glad to see all of you guys here as well.
Indeed. We also have Marvin here from That Park Place. How you doing?
Doing well. Happy to be back. Sorry I wasn't here last week. It was a very, very busy week.
Indeed. We also have Paul Chateau coming in from Canada.
Correct. Good. It's warm here.
And then we got Chris from Bleeding Fool. How you doing, Chris?
Top of the morning to everyone today.
You guys in your Newsies hats.
Great hats.
You didn't get the memo, Tom.
Um,
I think
then
this is very
Paulie, you
gently.
started it.
I started it. That's right.
Tom
Good
wasn't
morning.
the only.
What's that?
Tom wasn't the only one not to get the hat memo.
Well, it was the last minute memo. It was
I
literally
don't have one
like-
anyway.
I
Five
wear
minutes.
this hat every time.
Yeah, you do.
I only have one hat.
And
I'm a man
Honestly,
of
if
one
I
hat.
put a
Mini
hat,
hats, Marvin.
look at me. If I put a hat on like that, everybody would start jumping in my car.
Oh.
Where
Depends on
to,
the
Mac?
car.
Like,
we're two Mac.
what the fuck you
46
doing in my
Maine.
car, Mac?
Where's
46
my
Maine.
food?
Good morning,
Yeah.
Midnighters.
Good morning.
Everyone out in the chat.
Yeah, speaking of Midnighters, we got Corley and Rogue, who's been here for 9 months. Thank you for that. And Captain Phantom Nerd, who's been here for 52 months.
Nice.
Thank you for that. That reminds me, Andre, they expanded the badges. Now we got to go in and fix those.
Oh wow!
Right,
Okay,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
that's got to do
Because
that.
they got years now they put on there. Slash is here, slash 111111.
Hmm.
How you doing? Says if Hollywood torpedoed their income with streaming wars, I think they also failed, by trying to develop their international movie markets revenue when the real dough was always the domestic one. Gee, who's been saying that for years now? Oh, me. But yeah, between Hollywood and everybody else being so obsessed with foreign ticket sales, it's hilarious. Because, I mean, I've tried to explain a million times over how a lot of times those foreign ticket sales are not much more than bragging rights to the studio. But hey, you know, this is one of the reasons why they quit doing so much business with China. Because China quit paying out or did never pay out. So, yeah. But anybody else have anything to say about this?
No, I just think they thought they had the domestic sewn up, thought they would expand, and Slash and Tom are right. What else is new?
They didn't think. They didn't think it through. They just looked at, oh, we were shiny. We want some of that, without thinking it through. And then one went in, and all the others decided, shit, we can't be left behind.
Yeah, and China was the golden goose that they all thought they were milking. And then what really was happening was China was learning everything about how Hollywood runs so that it could do its own movies and then shut Hollywood out. And now that Hollywood relied on the Chinese box office.
I never understood why they were so fascinated with Hollywood, because looking at the deals that were offered and in place, they were horrible deals. They should never have ventured into the Chinese market. They should have said, you know what? Not worth it. It's too much effort. Not worth it. Let's just stay out of it.
Well, you've got people who are very business minded, who understand that. And then you have narcissists who are just like, hey, we're in China. You know, it's just a big shiny thing, like what Marvin said. Maybe they were fooled into getting, you know, good deals on location shooting, or maybe they thought that they would increase their merchandise reach over there if they could somehow convince the market. But you remember when Top Gun Maverick came out and the Chinese entertainment industry had their own kind of Top Gun 2 type movie that came out too. They were learning everything they could about our industries. It's propaganda.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think it was the prestige of, well, the Chinese box office can boost your net above $1 billion, which was such a bragging point for so long. But how much of that money is Hollywood actually getting back? We've learned it's a very, very small percentage, as Tom was saying.
Yeah.
In most cases, less than 10 cents on the dollar.
Yeah, it's insane. So basically, it could be like, oh yeah, this movie made $1.5 billion, all this money from China, but you didn't see any of that money. The Chinese government got all that money.
Yeah. It seemed like Disney was the only one who might have been, but even them, they've even not so much anymore.
Well, they were the ones that were going so far as to have like Chinese government officials like on set for certain movies to like, you know, weigh in on the sensibilities of the Chinese audience.
Yeah. And then Miller sends in 14 South African rands to say R&B read Star Trek Origins script, said it was shit. Star Trek Origins. Which one is this one now?
I don't
remember.
Can't keep up.
No,
That's not the Scott Bakula one, right? No, I don't think so.
someone do a search. I'm not going to bother because I don't care.
This is where I'm at,
Don't
too.
care.
I don't care.
When
I always appreciate
Robert-
R&B, whether I agree with him or not. I always appreciate his takes.
No, I was just about to say the exact same thing, Paulie. I don't always agree with Robert's take, but I do appreciate, particularly when it comes to science fiction properties. I mean, that's his ballywick, right? So,
He's way too nice. That's my problem with him.
yeah, but he's also, I think, yes, you're absolutely right. But he is also, our opinions on certain things differ wildly.
Sure.
I'll just leave it there.
But the reason to hate him is because he's nice. That's the reason to hate him.
Dang. No one said hate, dog. No one said hate.
I'm just kidding, Robert.
Robert. Roberto.
Roberto, my
I'd love to hear some super chats of what others think of RMB. Oh, here we go.
Oh,
Oh, geez. Pilgrim Media says the advertising model going away. What's the answer? Well, this is why they were stupid with streaming to begin with. So they've turned around and they took the networks where they would make, you know, millions of dollars on revenue per show, probably in most cases, down to pennies of revenue in most cases for every show, because they're not selling ads anymore.
well,
Not like they used to.
yeah, they've started again.
Yeah, they've started to, but now the ads that they're selling are so cheap compared to what they used to make on
Probably.
network.
I did predict a long time ago that they would start selling ads on the streaming.
Yeah, we all did. We all knew it was
Well,
going to happen.
I predicted something too. Yeah. Wait, what?
Paulie predicted that dinner last night was going to give him heartburn.
We're going to
Dude.
bookmark this video so he can use it later
Yeah.
to confirm the prediction. It just makes so much more sense because you want to incentivize producers of shows that's been buried on streaming to provide some financial incentive to get people to watch those shows again. That's what advertising on streaming gives that option, which to me was always a foolish thing for the streamers, other than Netflix, because I mean, early mover, they're making a ton of money. Well, they're bringing in a ton of money. Whether they're actually earning it, that's another, another thing. But I think even cable has added commercials, right? I mean, one of the reasons why you paid for cable to watch HBO was that there was no commercials. It all started there, but at least there was the cable fee that was distributed around across all the different cable properties, and then you could specifically get pay-per-view. HBO was initially you bought that individually, but then it became part of a bundle as the different cable providers wanted you to to join their particular product, right? But now it's a mess. But I'm not on cable. Can someone tell me whether they've put ads on cable, like HBO? Are there ads on HBO on cable?
No, I mean, most cable channels have ads, but like premium ones still, like HBO and stuff, don't.
But like Home and Garden or
oh yeah, all those still do as far as that
any of
goes.
those Warner Brothers cable shows. So again, you bought cable, specialty cable, to not get ads. So we're following that exactly same trend with streaming, which is hilarious.
Well, yeah, the streaming thing never made sense to me because you were killing so many other avenues of revenue.
Yep.
It was like, how do you think you were going to make up all that?
No, but it's that old joke. Very quickly, as the two guys want to get into business and they find a truck, and then they say, okay, what we need to find something to sell. So they find bales of hay. Someone's willing to sell them bales of hay for $2 a bale, and then they go around and they're selling the bales of hay at $2 a piece, and their business is booming, but they're not making any money. They're not being able to recover their insurance fees. They're not able to recover the cost of the truck that they bought, and then they go to a consultant, like some giant consultant like KPMG, and after a month and $1 million worth of consulting fee, they come back with the solution that they need a bigger truck. So that's what cable is.
That's true.
You know what we need is a bigger truck.
Yeah. No, that's a pretty good analogy, actually. You're not wrong. But yeah, it's just going to get back to the way things were. The problem is now they've sacrificed the big bucks. The way they were able to used to pay, the Friends cast $1 million a piece an episode, or the Simpsons cast $1 million a piece an episode, is because of network advertising revenue.
And probably the sales of the DVDs too.
All that stuff factors into it.
Yeah, but the other side of that argument is that they'll tell you that the studios benefited more from streaming because you didn't have to pay out because you didn't have that in the contracts. And but they didn't foresee, there's so much they didn't foresee. That's the whole point, is that they just didn't foresee so much of what streaming what was going to do.
We used to talk about television, or we talk about movies all the time and how they're affected by streaming. We don't often talk about straight up television too much, other than when we talk about how there is very little separation now between movies and television and how they're shot, produced, and all that kind of business. Because, I mean, that industry has been completely flipped on its head, right? Like, it's not anything like it used to be. Like Paul, I know you've had the conversation many times with myself and Script Doctor about how, there is no pilot season anymore, right? Like, they've killed all syndication.
Not the way.
No, right. But it's not like it used to be. And they've killed all syndication. We've talked about how shows, they're not able to make a show now where they can, even adjust midstream, because the show's already done before the first episode even hits the streamer, right? The entire season, not just one, a chunk of episodes. So that's just part of it, let alone the revenue, right? Like, and I said, like, syndication, they've lost all that revenue, because that used to be what your big goal was. You want to get 100 episodes in the can so you could sell it syndicated, and that was your big buco bucks for everybody. But at this day and age, when you got everything on streaming, there is no syndication. And the amount of money they're making on licensing on streaming is only got to be a fraction of what they used to make for syndication.
Oh, for sure. And again,
there is still a syndication, but
it's not like it used to be.
It's not, well, because it's not the only. It was the only guy in town for decades.
But
my point is back then the only time you could see Friends is either if you tuned in to watch it the night it was on, or you could get it on syndication after 5 years.
Right, see the repeats.
Now the only place it's at really or worth a shit is on Netflix. You can just go watch any episode, all episodes, all the time, which is great for the consumer if you want to watch a specific episode. But when it comes to the people that actually made the show, there goes any like future value on the show unless it was already something like Friends, right? Like no show that's been a streaming show that started as a streaming show is going to really sell to another company for anything, because Netflix is never going to license out Cobra Kai, right? It's just going to sit there on Netflix for the rest of its existence. Same thing with Stranger Things. You're never going to see Stranger Things pop up on Friday or every day afternoon when you come home from school like we used to as kids. You know what I mean? Like, there's never going to be enough episodes even if they wanted to. That's the other thing. We've only got 10 episodes this fucking season now.
The reruns were also a big part of smaller markets buying cheap shows in bulk and then stripping them all week. So you'd get a Friends episode once a day, and they paid peanuts for it. The older the property got, maybe not Friends, but pick another show. Like Third Rock from the Sun, probably,
or Andy Griffith.
A huge. You probably didn't have to pay a lot, but if Milwaukee Television was paying $1,000 per episode, there you go. That was part of not the fun, but that was part of the business. Is that as a show got older, it became cheaper, and then the smaller markets could buy them and then strip them, and so you're seeing them constantly because of that. But the other part of the business that has been completely shattered, and I keep going back to the fact that if Hollywood needs to recover, it needs to get back network TV. And the reason for that is I can't tell you what the size of, where not the pyramid, but the iceberg was. But the TV shows that we saw on the air was just the tip of the iceberg. Then there was a giant industry of the pilot season. And pilot season was huge. They made dozens and dozens of pilots. They commissioned 100 scripts. There was a lot of money to be made just in the development part of just getting those few shows that made it to the air. We've lost that industry. People made a living during pilot season, a good living, anywhere from script writers. I mean, at one point in Hollywood, there were people who were designated as pilot writers. So if someone came in with an idea, the studio would still give it to this one guy, or this one woman, actually. I knew a couple of them. And they had to do the final version of that script because they were the approved pilot writers. There were the pilot directors, like the guy, Burroughs. There was one season where Burroughs, because when I was doing TV sitcoms in the 90s, I would get all the tapes of every single pilot. And there was like hundreds of them. And there was one season where Jim Burroughs was the director of every single one from Cheers, because he was the approved golden child that was going to make all these sitcoms a success. But,
Well, I'm glad you brought up Cheers, because that's a great example of a show that if it wouldn't have been a show, like, they gave it such a long shot chance, because I didn't even know this about Cheers. It wasn't even that big of a show until the Cosby Show.
It took off in the summer.
Yeah. So I just was reading or heard about this on something or whatever, where I talk about Cheers and about how the first 2 or 3 seasons, it was a steady, people were watching it and it was gaining audiences, but it wasn't this massive hit out the gate. It wasn't until the Cosby Show dropped before it, when they started Cosby and NBC started doing the must-see TV thing, that Cheers really took off. And it was the show that ended up keeping that night for NBC until the other shows started coming along, like Friends and all that business. And then Family Ties was the other one that helped Cheers big time. When they had the lead in with the Cosby Show, Family Ties leading into Cheers, that was like, nobody was beating that lineup on Thursday nights or whatever it was. So yeah, I mean, you don't have those opportunities anymore to build those kind of nights. or even, the old procedural dramas we used to get, at 9 or 10 o'clock, depending on your market, right? Like those kind of shows have gone away, except for the few NCISs we got left that are still
The
running.
ratings of them now, now, a popular show gets a 4.5 rating, when back in the early 90s, if you had a 7.5, you'd be canceled.
Well, a good example is we just talked about the other day on Mead about how Landman is a huge success for Paramount Plus. I think it had the second season debut had its most views, I think, for a show at 9 million viewers in 2 days, or in the 24 hours or whatever it is they figure the views in. So that's a big hit for them. But like you just pointed out, back in the day, that'd be a modest to not much of a success on regular television.
Canceled.
Yeah, you'd probably be canceled in most cases, depending on where you were at.
So yeah, the biggest problem in Hollywood is that they have eviscerated their development season. That I will always say that is both the source of the lack of consistent quality of stuff. Not that there aren't highlights, like Last Samurai Standing, but for the most part, it's just the business of Hollywood has been destroyed by the destruction of the network television business.
Back to this question, the advertising models, it's completely changed. It hasn't gone away.
No.
And just one example, Pilgrim, is that you now have one or a few major sponsors of a particular episode brought to you by, and they'll show the episode, they'll show the advertising before the episode, and then boom, you get to watch the whole episode. But it's, there's a big sponsorship, buy already done. So it doesn't cut into maybe the episode on HBO Max of it, but it's, presented by Dove. So it's just really changed. It's really strange.
Yeah. So thank you for that question. That was a very interesting question. We got Dr. Long Dongler in the house, who's been here for 48 friggin' months, and he sends in $1.99 with a thumbs up to remind you to pound that like button if you have not already. And with that, let's get in to the big topic of Monday. If I can find my keep adding and moving shit around here on me. Box office. Oh, Wicked. That's all we need to say. Just Wicked.
Oh, you don't need my list. I'll get rid of mine.
Oh, either way, I had it ready.
So I think I'm the only one on the panel who actually saw Wicked for Good this week.
Probably. Yeah. So give us your verdict of it before we get into it. Because I can't really opine on the movie itself.
I really like the first one. This was not that. I think my headline on my review was Wicked for Good is anything but. It is a joyless slog. That is the second act of Wicked does not have enough material to be a full movie. It is the third act of a complete story. So, it is very downbeat. The big songs were all in the first act. They tried to fix this by padding it out with new stuff, and including 2 new songs, one of which was written by Cynthia Erivo, and I could not even hum you a bar of those songs.
Well, I'll tell you why that is they always add new songs to these movies because otherwise they're not eligible for an Oscar. They always have to do that in a musical.
Yeah, I'm sure that's part of it as well. It was also, the length, because the first movie was 2 hours and 45 minutes.
My understanding is that they added stuff in from the original book. But that being said, yeah. So the only other thing that I heard about this version of the story is they changed the way the wizard did what he did, let's say. Because in the original story and play, the wizard is the baddest of bad dudes. He's like old man white, bad. Original.
Well, yeah. Well, they made him a second banana to the stunning and brave, evil, diverse female Michelle Yeoh in this. Because there's a couple of moments where the wizard is like, oh, I'm Jeff Goldblum. Oh. And Michelle Yeoh gives him the look, and he's just like, oh, okay, I'm Jeff Goldblum. Because he's Jeff Goldblum for the entire movie. He's not the wizard in any way, shape, or form. Which normally I like Jeff Goldblum. In this, if you can't sing, you shouldn't be in a musical. And both Jeff Goldblum and Michelle Yeoh cannot sing. The songs were the new songs were meaningless. You can tell when it was original like Broadway material as far as even just dialogue versus modern Hollywood writers. Like it's almost like they switched the camera to a different camera because it's such a jarring sudden shift because the quality dips in such an extreme way. There were things that were done specifically for identity politics kind of stuff. Like for example, in the play, when she goes to her sister, who's the Wicked Witch of the East, her sister is in a wheelchair. And the point is, like, she's just like, well, you're helping everyone else, but you're not helping me. I've been in this chair my entire life. Why don't you try to use your magic to help me? And she casts a spell on the shoes to give her the ability to walk, which is why the shoes are magical when Dorothy takes them. In this, we can't have a person in a wheelchair want to not be in the wheelchair anymore. So she just makes her float for 10 seconds, and then she settles back in the wheelchair, and she's happy as can be. So it was a lot of that. It was a lot of the main like point of this is supposed to be the love story between Elphaba and Fiyero, plus the friendship between Glinda and Elphaba. It was clear that they dragged everyone involved with this production kicking and screaming to heterosexual romance. No one wanted to do it. There's a song called I
Want Dick.
No. Basically, that is the song. It's it's called As Long As You're Mine. And in the Broadway show, Elphaba and Fiyero are on their knees in front of each other, like grasping at each other, because the point of the song is, I can't believe we're actually together. I never thought this moment would come. If I let go of you for even 1 second, this might go away. It might not be real anymore. In this, they literally, the first line of the song is kiss me too fiercely, hold me too tight. I need help believing you're with me tonight. Cynthia Erivo sings that line walking away from him to go to the other side of the room and put on a big, thick grandma sweater. It is very clear that they wanted the love story to be between Elphaba and Glinda, and nobody would sign off on it. And so they were kicking and screaming to the romance. And by the way, everybody, I took my wife to see this movie because it's her favorite. She loves Wicked. So, that I had to take her to the double feature. So we had to sit through Wicked 1 and Wicked 2. So yeah, I did not like it. I thought it was Hollywood excess. It is exactly the problem that you run into every time somebody's like, we're going to take this one complete story and turn it into 2 movies. It never works. It didn't work with The Hobbit. It didn't work with Twilight. It didn't work with The Hunger Games. It just does not work. And Hollywood should stop trying to do that.
Well, they won't now because this is a huge success.
It is
and
for
that's
now.
The problem.
It is for now, but we're going to talk because I think that the second weekend is going to be.
Well, the problem is that women and queers don't bitch about movies like we do. They just move on. So, like, if this movie does fall off a cliff, nobody's going to give a shit. It's made all its money in its first weekend. That's why I jumped out ahead of Zootopia.
Yes, Queen.
I thought Zootopia opened this weekend. No, because I got a week ahead of myself.
I
got a week ahead of myself. I thought this week was Thanksgiving week, or this last week, I mean.
No,
so I got ahead of myself there. But
is a monster success.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter if it falls off the cliff next week, because that was never the point. And I said this last year.
Right.
They broke it up on purpose, guys.
Yep.
Right? It's the fucking.
I can't believe they did. I can't believe they took the chance. But yeah,
it's a cash grab, and they did it. Good for they did, and they got.
Because if that first part wouldn't have worked out so well, this would be a disaster here.
Oh, yeah.
But this worked out for them.
Yeah, Thanksgiving bonanza in the next 10 days, and that's it. That's how as far as like the corporate think.
Can I just point out though also that this is what happens when you make movies specifically for women in IPs that are designed for them. It's like Barbie made a bajillion dollars.
Yeah.
You can, when you give women something they actually want, they show up for it. When you try to give them Star Wars, they don't go.
Well,
I have a lot of it.
I see.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I don't know if I agree with that necessarily, because I have a lot of issues with this, because this movie, all the stuff that we talk about on a daily basis when it comes to woke stuff, this whole idea that we can't have a hero who's just a hero or a villain who's just a villain anymore. All the stuff that we gripe about on a daily basis in every movie and TV show. This fucking Wicked is ground motherfucking zero, patient zero, whatever the fuck you want to call it. This Wicked thing is the reason why we have a lot of shit we do now. If not, it's one of the main reasons. Because they can't allow it to where a bad person could just be a bad person and a good person can be good. It always has to be somebody's misunderstood, somebody did somebody wrong, and they need to take it out on society.
Yeah.
And that's what this shit is. And I'm sick of it. Because as somebody who grew up on Wizard of Oz, where we watched it every single year, this movie goes against everything that movie was about. Painting Dorothy in any way as some sort of villain is just fucking preposterous.
Well,
She
it
has
does-
no idea what's going on. She's a fucking victim through the whole goddamn thing.
So what does
He's also a
Dorothy
kid.
do in this movie?
He's also a
Nothing.
kid.
Dorothy's not a villain in this. Dorothy's barely in this movie. You never actually.
No,
even
but
see
they
her
put
face.
it in a position. They put her in a position now where she has stolen the shoes from a crippled bitch. That's what they put her in a
Yeah.
position of.
Well,
They
yeah,
have
Glinda.
inverted, they've
Glinda
inverted goodness
Yeah,
because
Glin-
this is
Not only
wicked
that, she dropped a
good.
fucking house on her head.
It's the whole thing.
I was saying because they kept her in the wheelchair. Like, do you imagine like Dorothy walking out of the house and like seeing the legs coming up, but there's also pieces of a wheelchair sticking out of there?
Oh my
It's
god!
just-
But it had to be a
much
wheel that
worse
just
for
comes
her.
out and goes, "Wee, wee, 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 wee," and it just falls over. Like,
Not only did I drop a house on a lady, it was a wheelchair lady.
yeah, I mean, and then and like I got into this last week about how, you know, even though this movie can't use stuff from the MGM film, because notice Dorothy has to wear the silver slippers and they took it up to the point they could. Like, this movie is predicated on you have to understand or have seen the original film, because it only works if there isn't the fourth witch. Because I brought this up last week,
Mhm.
and that was the whole thing with the whole idea of this. And that's the only reason there is that loophole, because it
Take-
makes Glenda look like a complete fucking bitch for
Take,
what she did to Dorothy.
Take Wizard of Oz aside. I mean, this is a massive following because of the musical.
Oh yeah.
And I mean, it still sells out. Still at major theaters, Pantages Theater.
Mhm.
Last Christmas, they Romy and her girlfriends went. I mean, it's freaking, and people were dressed up. I mean, they knocked it out of the park. You know, good for them, but it's, you know, it's a cash grab. They split in half. You know, and
Gonna win a bunch of Oscars.
You think
probably
it will?
because it
the
didn't
first
win
one
last
didn't.
year.
Yeah, because the first one didn't win anything.
That's why I know it
That's
will,
why.
because it's the whole Lord of the Rings thing. You guys got to
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
remember this. Whenever they know there's going to be a franchise like this, they'll give the first one some nods. They'll give the second one some nods, or the third one, whatever, however many there is. But it's whatever the last one is. That's the one they'll give all the prestige rewards to, because they got to make sure you didn't fuck it up.
Well,
That's
it's gonna
why
go up
Return of the
against-
King got all the
It'll go up
rewards.
against one
Oh.
battle after another, and Sinners. In some categories it'll win, some it won't. But
Tom,
it'll
you're gonna-
definitely get its awards this year.
The only thing it's got going against it is Sinners. You're right, but that movie's so fucking overrated. But anyway.
Tom, you're gonna be really mad at the title of one of the song, the new song that Elphaba sings. It's "There's No Place Like Home."
Are
Oh,
you
God.
fucking kidding me?
That- Name of the song Cynthia Erivo co-wrote,
Oh,
and
my
it's
God.
basically I don't recognize my home anymore and don't feel like I belong there. It was basically a Trump song.
Oh, for
Yeah,
God's
and,
sake.
and you know,
It seems like
Truth-
there's
truth
something
be told,
pernicious. Sorry.
the story is not how much we hate or like the movie. The story is its box office and the audience that it's managed
Yeah.
to capture. That's really the story.
Yeah.
You know,
I don't think there's a lot of rewatchability on this one though, because the first one, like people went to see that 3, 4, 5 times because it was bright, it was upbeat, the songs were catchy, like it was they put out a sing-along. This is like if this is, and not quality wise, but I'm saying like tone wise, this is the tone of like the second half of Revenge of the Sith for the
But the
entire
second ones
movie.
are part twos never make as much as the first one, and they know this. Again, you know, and I think some people will go see it a couple times, the diehards, and that's it. It's, you know, be
Well, this is
forgotten.
a business
Did what?
decision.
759 million, I think, for the first one.
yeah. I mean, it's purely a business decision, and if it's a success
Yeah.
based on the business, again, you never got fired. I mean, put it this way: you could get fired creating a high quality product that gets no audience, but you won't get fired for putting up a piece of shit that becomes a huge success.
Right.
Now,
That's
I will
just-
say that going into this Thanksgiving weekend, because I consider this whole 10 days part of it, I was the only one who said it. that
heard
the holdover movies are going to benefit, and Predators is going to jump the Running Man, and that's exactly what happened.
Yeah, but it didn't do much better. Like, here's the problem you have right now. Because I mean, I'm not disagreeing with you, but you have counter programming that's eating itself up right now. Because all these movies like Predator, Running Man, Sisu, all that kind of stuff, they all would be doing really well. Just one of them up against Wicked, but now you have three of them competing for the men's attention. That's a
Cece's
problem.
not
And then
competing at all, bro. That was a fucking disaster. The fact that Badlands improved,
is it not? Look at the look. I would agree with you, but when the second place film now which I was going to get to anyway. Now You See Me, which is the
magic one.
the wild horse here, because
but
that
it's
son of
not,
a bitch
because
come in
it's
and
magic, and it's a great cast. It's witty. They want good times. They want thrills. That's why it's a hit.
all right. Well, the point I was trying to get to is you've got too much counter programming competing for men's attention up against Wicked, and that's why you have all those films spreading out.
I disagree, because I'm not even thinking just men. I'm thinking families. They're gonna go see Wicked first. Then what haven't we seen? Oh, we saw the magic. Let's go see the monsters. Predators is the only monsters. I'm thinking like a family, bro.
I think in Thanksgiving it is usually couples and families. I think like Marvin went with his wife. This is for her. That's where they're going to go. I mean, you might see a tick up with Predator, maybe Running Man. Sisu should do pretty well, but that is the counter programming. But you're right.
I just want to add that Tom and Paul, you're both right. It is talking about two different audiences. One is the male audience, and another is the family audience. And there is some overlap between the two, but you have men which aren't part of families, and you even have some families that don't have men in them.
Yeah,
so
I'm not disagreeing with Tom. I'm just saying that the men, they're going. Everything's different for the next 10 days.
Mm-hmm.
Our behaviors. We're going to be hanging out with families. It's like the men, the families are going to go see what first? Wicked, and for now, and then a monster film, and then it's going to be Zootopia.
Zootopia is going to, I think, do huge numbers. I think that it might actually hit the billion. Apparently, the pre-sales in China, which I know we were just talking about, how you don't get as much money from China, but the pre-sales for China are higher than the pre-sales for Avatar. Wow. So. China, I think, is going to boost that. Not that Disney's going to get the money, but and even then with Avatar, James Cameron gets all the money. So Disney isn't winning in any way, shape, or form anywhere.
I know that J.K. Rowling doesn't need the money, but it'd been really neat if a competing studio to Wicked actually got her to tweet saying, "I can hardly wait to see the movie." That would have been the box office.
She needs the money. For sure.
And that's by accident as far as the monster movie. It's just they're lucky that the calendar opened up. And I'm talking about Predators. That the calendar opened up and that Running Man was such a disappointment. And it's like, oh man, it's gonna jump.
It should have been Running
so far. What's that?
Should have been Running Woman. Then
and look at how Predator, 3 weeks, and it only has earned half of what the first weekend of Wicked has earned. So if Wicked had a 165 budget, I think, I don't know if that's P&A stuff also, but I think that was the production budget. They just got to get about 400 mil, and they've broken even.
It's even cheaper because there were a lot of it was filmed together, bro.
No, it actually the published budget is higher than the first Wicked movie.
Okay.
So, in a year where sequels and franchises didn't save Hollywood like they had hoped. What were the big ones? Sinners, Weapons, and F1, I guess, this year.
Oh, non-IPs?
Yeah.
Minecraft, that was the first one.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Minecraft, another good one.
Lilo and Stitch live action.
And I'd still argue the only people who made any money off of F1 are Brad Pitt, Michael Bay, and Apple. Probably. I'm still not so sure Warner Brothers made any goddamn money off it.
I have a question. Why is Predator on the Walt Disney Studios Motion Pictures brand? It's a small thing. Not that
they own Fox.
Go, why isn't it in something like Hollywood Pictures or something?
Yeah,
it used to be Buena Vista for everything, and now they switched it out to Disney. Sure. It's not because I think it's now
or keep this on Fox or something. But why?
Well, what do they call Fox now? 20th Century Studios.
20th Century Studios. And say, Marvin,
Yeah,
you know this probably
why
better.
would they
but,
put
yeah.
this on the Walt Disney imprimatur? Like, I don't get it.
I don't get it either. It's I
As I
don't
was saying,
know.
I think it used to be Buena Vista, and they changed it. Like, because remember, everything else it used to be, anything that was under the Disney banner used to be just called Buena Vista, and that was how they could hide everything.
Yeah,
well, that was everything. Everything was under that, like that would come under, like even Disney films would have that in the byline of the copyright. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and then they quit doing it like a few years ago. So I'm thinking they switched the name of the company because I haven't seen Buena Vista on anything in years. So I'm thinking they changed it up to the Walt Disney Motion Picture Studio Company or something like that.
The thing is, though, you have a brand, and I think you have to manage the brand. And I'm a big brand management adherent. This is not Walt Disney brand.
Agreed.
You know who isn't a big brand management adherent, Paul?
Pardon me?
Bob Iger.
I was going to say, because he fucked Fox. He totally fucked Fox. Andre's right, because first of all, the biggest mistake was when you paid 70-some plus billion dollars for it, I'd be like, guess what, Mr. Murdoch? I get the Fox with it. I don't want just the 20th century part. I want all of it. Because that's the thing that everybody calls it. We still, to this fucking day, call it Fox, even though Fox isn't even in the title. Like, they took a whole company and just destroyed it. One of the most well-known, oldest movie studios ever. It's not Fox anymore. There is no Fox. It's just fucking Walt Disney. That's it. It's the Disney company. There's nothing more.
I was just curious what people thought about the brand confusion.
Well, this is the same thing we're getting with the Warner Brothers thing coming up here. You know, it's like, this is the worst thing that could happen is getting all these companies together. And by the end of it, it's only going to be 2 or 3 of them, just like the music industry.
Yep.
I can't wait for this Warner Brothers thing to be over with.
Me too. And I know you know that I know, just like I do, Marvin, that this is probably not going to happen, as we've been saying, unless somebody comes in and slaps $80 billion down on the table. Zaslav is going to laugh them all out the building, and Fox is the exact reason why, even though Disney overpaid for Fox, it doesn't matter. The precedent has been set. Warner Brothers is worth so much more than Fox is. Like, let's not even talk about all the ancillary shit that Warner Brothers has compared to Fox, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let's just talk about pure IP. Fox had 2 things they owned, really, that were worth a shit. Alien and Predator. And maybe The Simpsons you could consider possibly still, but even that's waning at best.
Oh, and X-Men.
No, I was just going to say everything else licensed. That's all it was. They didn't own X-Men. They didn't own any of that shit. They just licensed it for years and years and years. And they didn't even technically own all the rights to fucking Star Wars. Lucas owned all those. All they owned was some of the distribution rights to the original Star Wars. And that's part of what was fixed with all the sale was they fixed the rights to the X-Men, they fixed the rights to all the other Marvel characters, and they fixed the Star Wars rights. That was it. Everything else was just kind of like, whatever. Die Hard, let's try to make a Die Hard movie. Where's that? Let's try it. What else does Fox have? Oh, wait, Independence Day. Oh, gosh, yeah, that's going to do it.
Independence Day 2. Oof.
Exactly my point. Fox ain't got shit.
Roland Emmerich.
They were television. They turned into a television studio that made movies that weren't based on IP. And that
they
was
had
the
Avatar.
better.
They had Avatar too, but Avatar, most of the money goes to James Cameron.
It was kind of a licensing deal almost in a way, right? A distribution deal of sorts. Because, and I think that was a co-deal with Paramount, wasn't it, too, if I'm not mistaken?
Like that, maybe.
I think Fox, to Paul's point, Fox had a pretty good brand. You know what I mean?
They did it. Bob Iger fucking snuffed it out like a fucking kid in bed. But he didn't want.
To push back on Paul. Paul, have you seen Predator Badland?
Nope.
Oh, it's totally a Disney brand. I mean, come on.
And people are blowing this movie up and glazing the fuck out of it.
You know, girl power. I mean, it's all there. Everything.
I don't care if the movie's good or not. It's never going to make its money back. People are talking about how so much of a fucking... What hit is this? Sure, it had a great opening weekend, but it's dropped off a fucking cliff, and it's never, not even in video is it going to make its money back now. At least Prey, they made a butt ton of money on video on it.
Yeah.
Well, and to Paulie's, just real quick to Paulie's point, it's right that it did overtake The Running Man, but that's a testament to how badly The Running Man underperformed in its second weekend more than anything else.
Yeah, all I said was that it's
Yeah,
going to
yeah,
be
you're right.
the monster choice for families. I didn't
Yeah.
say it's a hit. I didn't say this. I didn't say that. But I just saw the tea leaves,
Well,
and I
and
I just saw the tea leaves from
Yeah.
last week, and I'm like, Running Man got roasted by the audiences. Oh, Predator's gonna do really well because of the calendar. That's all.
Yeah, you're right.
Everyone I know really liked Predator.
I loved it.
Well,
I had a
it's
great
definitely
time.
made for an audience of people who would never go see a Predator movie.
That's not true. I had a great time. I know other people.
Planet of the Apes is the only other thing they got, and they barely got that movie out there. That was a waste of time. It was just basically a retread of the last three.
Oh, The Kingdom.
You are such an unhappy person today, Tom.
I am a very unhappy person today.
Yeah, I had
keep
fun
going.
with Predators Badlands. I think Tron Ares. I was hoping that Tron Ares would be what Predators Badland was, like an offshoot story.
Is that even on the top 10 anymore?
No. I'm just saying I was like so upset when I saw Tron Ares. It was really one of the worst movies of the year for me. So
It was the year that Snow White came out.
I
That's
got
saying
worse ones than Snow White, dog.
I'm sure you do.
What else is in the
Yeah,
top?
Snow White was never for us.
Well, the one we didn't really talk much about was The Surprise, which I'm kind of surprised it's doing as well as it is. But I'm not at the same time. And that's Now You See Me, Now You Don't. And that was the other point I was going to get to, is that movie is kind of cannibalizing both markets, right? Not really cannibalizing, but everything under Wicked is just basically stuff that guys and your dad and stuff like that will go see. But if they only had one up against Wicked instead of 5 of them, that was my whole point, is that they're just being spread out, right? Predator would be doing great if it wasn't for The Running Man and Sisu and Now You See Me, Now You Don't. That's my point, is if they didn't have anything else to compete. This is the first time in a while we've had films that are competing, but still nobody's really interested in them. Wicked, for good, it's doing great, but I wonder if it'd be doing any better if there was anything worth a shit seeing besides it.
Mm-hmm.
That's my whole thing I was getting to. I mean, Sisu, I don't think Sony gives a shit. That movie is specifically made for what it's supposed to do. It's supposed to go out there, make a few bucks in theaters, and then Netflix probably has the rights to it.
The
Yeah,
Finnish.
and remember also, it's a Finnish movie.
It's a Finnish
Scale
diaspora
budgeted for
are going
Finnish
to go
movies.
watch it.
Yeah.
I didn't hear either one of you because you were talking over each other.
I also said keep in mind that Sisu will primarily have been budgeted for its local market, for Finland and for the Nordic. And so that movie, just in foreign pre-sales, and America is foreign territory relative to where it's from. So that movie's gonna do great relative to what it's doing. Just by being in US theaters at all, it's a huge win for it.
Yeah, Sisu is going to affect the sauna business because everyone is going to be leaving their saunas to watch it, all the Finns.
Well, Paul, this is kind of funny. I'm noticing this, though, since you brought this up. Because you said, you got Predator Badlands under the Walt Disney Studios motion pictures, right? But now go down a few slots and you got Rental Family. I don't even know what the fuck that movie is, but Searchlight Pictures put it out. You know who Searchlight is? That's Fox.
Yep.
So they must still have a separate, the main part, and they just put it under Disney, and they must still have Searchlight as an independent side of it or something, is what I'm thinking. Or did that spin off? I don't think it did.
It looks like a wonderful little movie.
No, I'm not talking about the movie itself, though, but I did notice that now that you brought up the company names.
Yeah.
I don't think Searchlight was taken in the Disney deal.
That's what I was wondering, if it was spun off. That was my question.
Yeah, it's just rebranded itself as Searchlight Pictures.
Because that was
Fox Searchlight, I think.
Exactly, because I think it was a little conglomerate studio between Fox and some other investors is what it was. So I don't think it was part of the deal. That was why I was curious about it. So there's our answer.
There you go.
Otherwise, Nuremberg, that.
You know what? It may, but when I look back on it,
I
think it is part of Disney's deal. They just took the Fox off, so that would fall.
But they kept it as a separate entity, evidently.
Yeah, they should have probably done that with Predator. So
they should have done it with Fox. I don't know why they ever did. They should have just let Fox continue to run the way it was,
Yeah.
They just treated Fox like a much bigger version of Touchstone Pictures.
That's not what Disney does. Disney's the Borg. They assimilate.
To conquer.
Yeah.
Because we were just talking about this last night over on Mark's channel when I do the geekery on Sunday nights. We were talking about how, you know, Disney had pretty much was on the verge of bankruptcy if it wasn't for Splash saving their ass. Because every animated film they put out in the 80s bombed, and Black Cauldron almost bankrupted the entire studio. If it wasn't for Splash keeping them alive and the few Touchstone hits they had.
Yeah.
Until Roger Rabbit came along, and Roger Rabbit saved both sides of the studio because they had the animation and the live action side there. And then Little Mermaid changed everything, but that's, you know, like, yeah, like this anyway.
I think the Fox thing, they had to get rid of Fox because Fox TV kept Fox, and they said, you want a movie business, you have. I think Fox had to be removed from the movie business.
Which is silly because the only channel that they didn't buy was Fox News. They kept FX, they kept all the other stuff. Yeah.
Just pegged it. They just didn't want the association with Fox News.
That's what it was. They didn't want it. They didn't ask for it. They didn't. That's where I'm like sitting here scratch. I remember when the sale happened. Andre might remember this because I'm going like, what the fuck are you doing? Fox is what we call it. Fox is the only thing worth a shit. I'd be like, sorry, Mr. Murdoch, you got to change your news station now to News Corp or whatever the fuck you want to call it, because that's the company that they were under. Like, like you can't have the Fox thing. I'm not gonna buy. That's like buying an RV without a fucking roof.
Well, you know what? I don't think they wanted the Fox name because the Fox name is associated with Fox
It's
News.
exactly what it is.
With conservatives, and they didn't want to be associated with that.
No, Marvin, you hit the nail on the head. In fact, if you go back and do some searches back through the internet, I'm pretty sure there's at least 2 or 3 people inside the company that said that very exact fucking thing. And I'm sitting here going, so you bought it, it's yours now. Fuck them.
Yeah.
Well,
Like,
I'm foxed out. Let's keep going with the list.
Let's done. There's nothing else.
Let's move on.
So, Mike, I have a question. Do you think Hollywood is learning a lesson when it comes to the female audience? Like between this and Barbie, with both being IPs specifically designed for women, that to present that instead of trying to take a male-oriented franchise and DEI it up, or not DEI, but like, you know, feminize it up and present it to women as, here, this is yours now, like Marvel or Star Wars. Do you think that they're going to learn a lesson about that?
No, because here's the thing. The female audience will go see movies like this did well. This Regretting You. The only Sydney Sweeney movie that's done well was her romantic comedy. Deadpool's Wife, her big success was that romantic comedy thing. Like, this is something that is still consistent. Nobody ever brings up. Much like horror films, women will go see these rom-coms / Sandra Bullock type movies all the time.
It's a date movie.
This was made for 30 million, and had McKenna Grace, who's becoming a you know, like a young name, and then what's his name, Mason. I don't even know how to say his name. He was in a Black Phone 2 as well. So young stars, and made for cheap. Yeah, that's good.
I was just thinking about like it being a date movie, and then I thought to myself, wait, do people still go for dinner and a movie on dates? Because that used to be like a cheap date, and now that's not a cheap date anymore.
It still kind of is. You know, as much as we gripe about the prices of movies, I got to remind everybody it's still a hell of a lot cheaper than doing a lot of other things.
Just don't take your date to get prime rib and use your
exactly.
Go
to a restaurant now. You won't. Two
Remember
people
that
at a
time
decent restaurant.
In Good Fortune.
Yeah. Oh God. Yeah. If you want to see a good movie, check out Good Fortune. I thought it was actually pretty good. I was kind of surprised at how good it was. It doesn't sound like Paulie enjoyed it as much.
We had a good time. Romy liked it as well.
Yeah. What I like about it is that
and she saw F1 for the first time this weekend.
Oh, that's good.
Loved it. Yeah.
But what I like about it is that the trailers didn't give away all the good shit for once.
Yeah.
Because the second half of the movie, they don't really give you much in the trailer of.
I think it could have been tightened up a little bit, like the pace, but it's still
a little bit.
It still was good. Like, it's better than a lot of the films here in the top 10.
It's sad that it didn't do better. Yeah.
Rental Family, I heard, was really good. The new one with Brendan Fraser. And then you have Sarah's Oil, top 10, still in the top 10, which is a faith-based, good feel story. So I think those movies will make a couple more bucks in the next 10 days. That's nice.
If this Rental Family movie's any good, I can see this one being a little Oscar darling from the sound of it.
I heard
Yeah,
from
I
reading
would
the
say.
synopsis.
Yeah, I heard it's very enjoyable and he's great in it. And yeah.
They like Brendan Fraser at the Oscars, so
Like Brendan
There's the
Fraser
box
everywhere.
yeah. Well, he's gonna be doing The Mummy next. So, what do you got here, Paul? Oh,
I just saw
can't wait for that.
fell down, and I quickly ran in and got my daughter's stockings and shoes. And I thought the neighbors thought I was crazy, but there it is.
but you are.
You need some wheelchair parts underneath
There
there
you
too.
go. So I
Mangled
also
wheelchair.
killed a witch.
Ooh my.
Witch killer.
Just thought that was funny.
And then we got let's see here. We got Soul Nightmare coming in with a super chat. Says Zack Snyder is truly one of the greats. Who else could have six dead franchises and zero interest from any studio to work with him?
Amen. Amen. I love, like, Netflix is canceling his movies left and right, and everyone's like, well, they're just freeing him up to work on the Snyderverse. I'm like, no, they fired him.
He's like the reverse J.J. Abrams. Like,
And then everyone's like, but he's sharing all of these
that would make him good,
Superman
wouldn't
pictures.
true,
like,
Andre.
He's sharing these DC pictures because it's getting engagement.
Not only that, it's just
It keeps his name out there every
Well,
time he does
isn't
it.
he
A
good buddies
million
with Gunn?
headlines.
Isn't he good buddies with Gunn also?
Yes.
that's the other thing. They're friends.
You know what's funny though is all these websites like Comic Book Movie and Screen Rant and others. As soon as Zach posts something, there's a whole article written about it right away, right? And with the little curiosity-driven click headline, you know.
It's worse than the KK is fired shit. It is worse because it's giving people false hope. It's and even Marvin sent me some of these things. The mental gymnastics that sometimes the shit they do for this stuff.
Yeah.
Look, and even Andre and I hedged it in that recent video that we did. You know, like, is it impossible? No. But the chances of it happening are so fucking slim. I probably got a better chance of waking up with a pierced asshole tomorrow.
Tom, like,
Yikes.
even if you were going to reboot DC again, which obviously is not a thing that I don't think they're even considering right now. If you were going to reboot it again, why would the one person you would go to be the only other person that has failed at doing this?
Right. And I mean, I'm not saying that companies haven't done that kind of shit before. Don't get me wrong. But then I also sent you my kind of response to this whole thing is like, look, let's look at this from a logical angle. Even if a Saudi prince happens to have all the money in the world to buy Warner Brothers with no other real reason in mind other than to restore the Snyderverse, okay, you're talking at least a year or two or more before the sale even goes through and is all the, you know, all the red tape's gone through. Then you're talking, and that's even if they have a ready to go script on hand, which I doubt. So that means they got to take time to write a script. Then they got to make sure they can get everybody's contracts in order and their schedules in order. And let me tell you, scheduling is not fun. And do you really think Ben Affleck wants to come back as Batman?
No.
Do you think Gal Gadot is going to still be able to come in and play Wonder Woman or want to play Wonder Woman after all the shit she's done? Maybe. But that's what you're going to have. You're going to have Henry Cavill and Gal Gadot. And who wants to be the one to go tell Jason Momoa that he no longer gets to be Lobo? He has to go back to being Aquaturd.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. At the end of the day,
I don't want to
actually
fucking piss him off.
I almost wish that they'd do it. Like, not cancel the Gunn movies for this. I'm always like, let Snyder make his other two Justice League movies and watch them bomb. Like, I would love it. Like, yeah, here's four. Here's
here's what you do.
And that's I wonder if that's why Zach's not sharing all this stuff.
Do it animated just to finish it.
I heard that rumor. It was told to me that that's the thing that's on the table right now to kind of appease the Snyder fans and get this thing finally done once and for all.
This is the Hunt for Ben Solo thing dialed up to 11 because there's not enough of them to make this a viable thing. When Zack Snyder's Justice League came out on HBO Max during the lockdowns, it wasn't even #1 on HBO Max. It lost that to Godzilla vs. Kong. There are not, and if there were as many Snyder bros as they like to pretend there are, those movies would not have failed.
That's just it. And I mean, there's so many other levels to it, but it's fine. is there enough of a contingent of people who don't like this Superman? Maybe, but the numbers don't play out, and that's the thing I don't get about like the way, like I brought up Predator Badlands earlier. Like everybody's like, oh, it was such a huge success for Predator, it was the biggest opening ever for Predator film, and all this other business. Is like, yeah, but it's not even gonna manage to make probably half of what it needs to make money because the damn thing costs $100 million, right?
Yeah.
And that's cheap now. I couldn't believe we could stand here and say $100 million.
$105 million bucks. 105.
Yeah, that's cheap for a movie like that now. Actually, that's not bad.
It had a
When
big,
Marvel movie,
but numbers wise, it did. But you're right. It's not gonna make the money it needs to make in the box office to make.
it
money.
might get lucky later down the road, but it's not going to be like Prey, and that was my point. Where
Right.
Prey was made and budgeted and put on streaming, and then they
But-
got lucky that it was so popular that they put it on video.
That's a
and
different
it
model.
sold out.
Tom. You know that they
Yeah.
weren't planning. It was budgeted. That money was budgeted for.
Yeah, that's my whole point. Is that this movie was not made in a way like they should have made it like Prey. It shouldn't be $100 million movie. It should only be 40. There should only be like one Predator in it. They should have went into it like the original film. I'm not saying it has to be like the original film, but it's like you're at this point now where you got to be taking some chances. I got to say, you said earlier that sequels never make as much as the first movie, Paulie. That was true back in the 80s and 90s, but not now. Studios go into these sequels expecting to make more money. That's why Wicked for Good opened as big as it did, because it's a fucking sequel. And that's where that changed. What was it? Probably early aughts with the superhero movie craze. That's where it kind of changed. Whereas all of a sudden now part 2s and 3s were making more money than the first film was. And that's where, it was peaked with Avengers Endgame, right? Where Avengers Endgame made what? 2, almost 3 times what the first Avenger film made at the end of the day. So like that was what they were.
Yeah, I mean, we can get into the weeds with that, but I think.
But that's what they were trying to do for years, and now that's gone. See, that's what I'm trying to get at. Is it's gone.
250 to 300 million to be profitable in the theater. It's not going to happen. Maybe down the line with the other, what is it? DVDs, VODs.
Well, the other problem with Predator is they're not going to sell it to anybody. It's going straight to Hulu or Disney Plus or whatever. So that means they're not going to even make any money on the back end off of like selling it to Amazon or anything like that.
I'm totally with you, man. I don't know why you got on me because
I'm not getting on you. I'm just saying like
earlier you got. I know you, Tom. I love you.
It's just the whole movie thing right now is
it's the one that's going to benefit the most from the action films that you were pointing out. Not that it's a hit. I'm just saying,
Okay, let me put it into a different perspective. Let's take Wicked off the table. This is an abysmal box office. Because what happens with Wicked's not there, that means Now You See Me does not make $150 million.
No way.
Because that was kind of the other side of this I was going to get to. Now You See Me at best would have hung in there at maybe 20-some million dollars. This is a horrible box office still. They're lucky Wicked is out. That's kind of where it's at right now.
No, I'm with you on that 100%. And one more thing is that it leapfrogged Running Man, which is not a big deal. Running Man's a piece of, I heard it's really bad.
I heard it's okay. It's fine.
Predators lost 600 theaters, right? Just because of the change. And even losing the 600 theaters, it's still held on to 50% loss and made more money than the Running Man. But whatever, I get it, guys.
No, but my point was why it didn't drop so much is because there's nothing else out there.
I'm with you, and I agree with that.
Wheezy Bird says Oz abuses animals and is deadbeat dad. What the fuck? Yeah.
That's
well, it's worse
basically
than the
it in
deadbeat dad thing in the original story, but yeah. They had to PG-13 quotify this one though, so can't have any grapes in PG-13s, I guess. Daniel Pine says, so there's still hope for cinemas to survive, even if things looked dark recently.
I think one of the smartest things movie theaters have done lately to squeeze more money out of people is the merchandise that they offer with all of these new releases. Like every studio has their own popcorn bucket, and as much as I think it's like, oh yeah, it's a predatory way to get money out of people, I look to see what the popcorn bucket is for every movie I want to see, and if it's something good, I pick it up. It's
is that gonna last though, Marvin? Because I'm starting to see that taper off already. Like one of the last times I went to the theater, they had a whole clearance section of all their stuff they couldn't sell for the last year, including hit movie stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the Nuremberg popcorn bucket was not a good idea.
Was it like a little? Oh God, I have a terrible joke. I'm not.
Don't be
Well, I'm trying to
careful.
remember.
I'm
I'm
not
trying to
gonna do
remember the
it.
last popcorn bucket we really had that was a craze. What, the Stitch one or the?
The Stitch one is the last one I bought. I wanted the
Yeah.
Galactus one at Fantastic Four, even
Galactus
though,
one.
even
Yeah.
though I hated that movie. That Galactus.
I mean, I got the
was
Superman. There was a
badass.
couple of Superman ones, but I wouldn't say there was one that really everybody just wanted to have. You know, like,
The Galactus one was so cool, but it was like really
Huge and
expensive, so I ended up
expensive.
not
I
getting
didn't
it.
get it. I didn't get it. I wanted to, but like you said, it was just too expensive. No,
Same
the
thing with
last
the
thing I got
Robbie
was
one.
the
Yeah.
Superman, the badass sippy cup.
Yeah, I mean,
Well-
Superman had a few, but yeah, it's been a while since maybe like the Stitch one that I think that really
But-
sold out.
So the box office, but back to your thing, theaters, they need this business to happen every weekend. That's the problem. Pack lines for concessions, some people buying some merch, cool, but it's concession lines that
Well-
they need that every weekend. Is that going to happen? Maybe till January, but it's going to dry up.
Not while
other
the
th-
movies suck. I mean,
Yeah,
that's the
correct.
problem.
The other thing that they have going for them and
Yeah,
is they need more like those Taylor Swift type movies.
I think the
You
hat
need a-
adds a little
you
more
need
attitude
movie.
to us.
Yeah. I think they're having more luck than ever now with re-releasing old stuff too. I mean, like we saw what the Turtles did when they brought the TMNT movie back into theaters recently.
Back to
that
the
was
Future.
pretty well attended. Back to the Future just had
What's
a
sad
great
is Spinal Tap 1 did almost as good as the sequel in its re-release.
Well,
I'm not
and then-
even kidding.
And then when they do these re-releases, a lot of times they're releasing merchandise. Like there was when they put Batman, the '89 Batman back out. They could
Back
they
to the
did that
Future.
bat. They did that bat signal popcorn bucket, and the Back to the Future just had the yeah, there it is. They just had the DeLorean one that looks really
Yep.
really cool that I want.
Yeah, and that one might have sold out. I haven't checked on that one because I know my kid wanted that one really bad. And it was one that I thought, I wouldn't mind it, but I'm not spending $30-40 for a cheap plastic DeLorean. But yeah, as far as hope, I'm not saying cinemas are going anywhere. They need to, and I've been saying this for a while, and I know I'm not the only one saying it now. They need to figure out a way to reinvigorate the cinema. It has been stagnant for so long. This is like, you know, there was more innovation throughout the history of cinema for years up until the last 20-30 years. There has been no real advancement other than digital. That's the only thing that's changed. And even some theaters are so still behind, like they haven't even upgraded their projectors to where they're technically projecting at 4K yet. I don't know if you realize that. Most
it's
theaters
okay.
you go to see are less quality than your fucking TV at home.
Yeah, but it doesn't need to be at that distance.
It looks like
What?
shit, Paul.
No, it doesn't. It
yeah,
looks
it
like
does.
no, but it's hard to tell when you're sitting 100 feet away from the screen.
I don't sit 100 feet away from the screen.
In my opinion, two big problems, right? That you're just not going to change overnight.
Most people won't notice.
Is our home theater units have gotten so good, and then
They need to
we don't-
compete with that.
You don't have, and you know, you don't want to deal with rude people because that always happens at the theater. And the other thing is, movie stars are not just doing movies anymore; they're doing television, they're doing limited runs, they're doing streaming, and that's a big problem. That's a big problem. When House of Cards dropped with Kevin Spacey, everyone was like, what's going on here? Why is he doing Netflix? What is Netflix? And it was off. That was what, 16 years ago. We've been off to the races ever since. Wild West. But as long as you know, well, now there really is no new movie stars. I would love if Tim Chalamet doesn't do any streaming limited TV shows and he sticks to movies. Leo was doing that for a minute. You know, that's kind of got to Tom Cruise. It's kind of got to be the thing.
I agree with you.
So, yeah. What's next, Tom?
Mhm.
Drew here says, anyone anyone heard the story? Excuse me. The story of the 1826 West Point Eggnog Riot. Animal House style party featuring future founders of the Confederacy when they were college kids might make a fun movie. No, I never heard of this. Paul, this sounds like it's right up your alley.
Is that a real
I
thing?
know nothing about it. Why would I know this?
Didn't say you would know it, but it sounds like a movie you could write.
There are
Yeah,
so
this has
many
got
cool
a
events in history.
screenplay by Paul. It's got a screenplay by Paul Chatto written all over
West
it.
Point Eggnog. Like, I'm a big American history nut. What can I say? And West Point is my specific expertise.
All those crazy kids.
Yeah.
Those crazy kids. Jeffy Davis. Did you
The
stop
egg-
throwing eggnog at your compatriot? What was it, Grant? You're like because they're all young, West Pointers. Some eventually go to
That would be very funny.
The Eggnog Riot, sometimes known as the Grog Mutiny or the Christmas 1826 Cadet Mutiny, was a riot that took place at the United States Military Academy in West Point on the 24th and 25th of December 1826. Was caused by a drunken Christmas party in the North Barracks of the Academy. 2 days prior to the incident, a large quantity of whiskey was smuggled into the Academy to make eggnog for the party, giving the riot its name. It eventually involved more than 1/3 of the cadets by the time it ceased on Christmas morning. Subsequent investigation by Academy officials resulted in the implication of 70 cadets and the court-martialing of 20 of them, along with one enlisted soldier. Among the participants, though he was not court-martialed, was future Confederate States President Jefferson Davis.
What did I tell you?
Yeah.
Really
Jeff.
weird.
You know, it's the only problem with that scenario is it doesn't include women in roles of power and strength.
I like the Grog Mutiny as a
I like
more
it.
than the Eggnog Riot.
Paul, you just write in a panty raid scene. We're
Well,
all
I
good.
think you absolutely need like a Porky's scene.
So I'm saying we can work this. We can workshop.
I think I think you know what? That is actually not a bad idea for a movie. Going back in time and seeing just what kind of bad fun stuff guys got into at the time.
You know what's
The
funny?
challenge is that you get them to speak modern vernacular as part of the joke.
Ooh, see, now where you're leaning in is you're like, oh, let's get Seth Rogen and those guys to make it.
Yeah,
No.
that's right. He'd be great.
Unfortunately,
Get
well,
it,
that's
get
the
it.
thing. That's
AC/DC do the soundtrack.
soundtrack.
Yeah.
There you go. Yeah, you know,
On period instruments. There's
I'm
actually
surprised
something
Drunk
to that
History
thunder.
hasn't done this story yet, to be honest with you.
They may have.
I'm thinking they probably have. I would
Thank you,
think.
Drew.
Patrick Robinson says, so I'm curious with John Chu. Clearly the guy can turn out good movies. So what happened with Gem and the Holograms? Was that a studio movie? Oh yeah.
Imagine thinking that anyone on this panel had gone to see Jim and the Holograms.
Well, imagine thinking a girl's IP that isn't Barbie is going to have a lifespan of more than 3 years.
You don't think Strawberry Shortcake could do something?
Fuck no. Oh yeah, she's so popular, isn't she? They've tried rebooting Strawberry Shortcake at least 2 or 3 times now. Girls don't care.
You know,
I
I
don't
think
care.
for a girl brand movie of any type, it has to have that Venn diagram with gay men, right? So like
You
Barbie,
might be right.
Wicked, you know, for it to be a monster hit. Like if you
My
just
Little
did
Pony.
something that mother-daughter type movie, you're not going to get the gay men and
You know,
those butts in seats.
I've said this before. The only reason My Little Pony is still a franchise is because of those damn furries
The bronies.
and the bronies.
Yeah.
Yes. Because otherwise,
I think if they combined Honey, I Shrunk the Kids with Polly Pockets, it'd be a huge.
There you go. Maybe.
well, there's another example.
Although
of a
Jim and the
franchise there.
Holograms could have had some gay man appeal, I don't know. I don't know enough about the property.
It was so of its time and so laser focused at the audience the original show was that it was going for, that this movie, I don't think the movie knew the audience it was going for.
Do you, you know, it makes me suddenly think of, I actually thought the Josie and the Pussycats movie was actually kind of smart.
It was better than it had the right to be, yes.
It really
just
was.
It just came out at a really weird time when all the studios were trying to make live action versions of these animated shows from back in the day, and it just kind of got lost. And if it had come out like,
Posey, I mean, she's got something I don't
well,
know.
and it even had what's her
Yeah.
face who plays Ahsoka in it, and and I forget the lead chick, but
yes.
yeah, I mean, it was a good movie. It just came out at the wrong time, I think. If it would have been a few years later, it might have done
Which
better.
one?
The Josie and the Pussycats live action movie from the
Oh,
early
you
aughts.
saw it?
Yeah, it was actually not that bad.
I
we were
thought that
saying.
one was smart. Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you
It
enjoy
actually-
Jim and the Holograms, Polly?
I've never seen a Gem one though.
Polly. Yeah, he's
No, he ain't
that's
got
you
time for
raising
that.
your hand. Is that what you're doing? Got it.
But yeah, no, girl franchises don't have a large life usually, and I think the only reason Barbie has the longevity it has is because Barbie can be anything. That's the only.
Well, she's
reason.
got another big movie coming out that looks like it's gonna hit it with the Valentine's crowd, the
Greta
Wuthering
Gerwig.
Heights, and sorry, it's gotten real.
You're talking about
Who's
Greta
that?
Gerwig, Polly?
Margot Robbie, Wuthering Heights,
Oh, Margot.
with her and Jacob Elordi.
Greta
Yeah.
Gerwig's next thing is this Narnia movie that nobody wants.
I thought it was Narnia meets rock and roll or something. I think they're trying to.
Meryl Streep as Aslan is what it is.
Oh, great! That should do well.
Yeah.
That's
So
gonna be
Nightmare says
hilarious.
the problem is congestion with no holiday yet. Well, they back end loaded this year at the because remember this summer we were griping that there wasn't shit for movies out competing. Now we're getting all bunch of stuff dumped at the end of the year for some reason.
Yeah, but I think part of that is that they kind of knew some of these were turds, but like, let's push it into the holiday season. We'll make a couple of bucks because the Running Man or
Like the opposite of fuck you January. And
right. But Zootopia is going to be a hit. What are the other for sure hits the rest of the season?
just Avatar, basically.
That's the only one left, I think.
The only
Yeah,
person that
so-
makes money off that is James Cameron.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is there any other big movies that come out for Christmas besides that? I think everything kind of got out of its way.
Yeah, I can't
Big
think of
one?
anything major.
Yeah.
Maybe there's going to be some smaller counter programming.
That's what I mean. Yeah, we're talking about another big,
Yeah.
A title. Anyway, Soul Nightmare says the big problem is congestion. Oh, wait, we got this one already. Yeah, this one, Soul Nightmare says most of the money is after school and after work hours. As far as like movies, well, yeah, I mean that's a given. It always has been. But you know what's sad is back in the 80s, up through the 80s, until they started doing the multiplex thing. I mean, a lot of movies did just fine where most theaters weren't open, but only on the weekends. Like literally just the weekends. But yeah. Dark King says, what's the wrong lesson Hollywood will learn from Wicked?
That Cynthia Erivo is a movie star.
That's one of the many.
That's the big
Uh,
one because they're already talking. She's going to be Storm. She's going to be in Star Wars. Like,
Well, she
you know,
just got cast in Othello with Denzel Washington and
who is she going to play in Othello?
Rachel Brosnahan.
Othello.
She's going to be because I was thinking like they might make her Othello because she is like
Well,
the one-
I haven't read the story yet, but there's Iago. Was it
Desdemona.
Desdemona and Othello? So unless Iago's gonna be, well, she is the GQ Man of the Year. So that
She is the
could-
GQ Man of the
He
Year.
also
That is-
played Jesus in Jesus Christ Superstar.
They're
Oh, wow,
renaming
looking
it
like a
to
Bigger than
Othello.
Kanye.
Yeah, but
What was that,
she's-
Paul?
They're renaming it to Othello.
Hey-oh.
She is the snake Cobra Commander, being carried through the snow, going, "I was a man, yes, oh yes."
That's pretty good.
You know what? I'm wondering
Uh,
I'm wondering if she's gonna try to do that like spindly thing on press tours with Rachel Brosnahan, and Rachel's gonna be like,
Yeah,
happy.
I am like so done with Marvel at this point that when the Storm thing came out, I'm like, you know what? Do it. Just do it. Just make her Storm, make Ariana Grande Rogue, and just unleash them on the press tour together. Just do it at this point. I don't care anymore.
They're too
It's not gonna
scared. They
make
can't get
anything
past.
worse.
What was that, Andre?
Just gonna say, yeah, it's not gonna make anything any worse. That's for certain.
That's the first time I ever hear you say
My-
shit like that.
My co-host Kevin Apollo has dubbed Cynthia Erivo Gross Ferratu, and I really want that to stick.
That's great.
Yeah, she reminds me of the Hargreave from Skyrim, but that's
Well,
a
we know-
very obscure reference.
We all
We
know
can
now.
go
what-
on and on. Like, hey, let's do an Arrivo live stream and just.
Well, I was
But
just gonna say we all
she's the
know what
rage
happened to
bait.
Ariana Grande. Now Cynthia just basically sucked the life out of her. That's why.
Mhm. I
She's
mean,
actually
Cynthia
good
Erivo is the
girl,
actress
man.
now that they do when they're like, "Hey, we want rage attention on something, so put Cynthia Erivo in it, like the Men of the Year cover." Things
You
like
have
that.
to understand that she has a fairly significant curricula vitae coming out of live theater, Broadway. She is really well regarded as a powerhouse singer and actor on Broadway. She's been working the boards for a good long time. So she's not some ingenue coming out of high school trying to make it big. She has a lot of cachet and an audience that loves her.
Did
I
anybody
totally
else
agree.
find it how hilarious was that they nuked the publicity tour with Ariana and her? Like, not only did they take
Yeah.
them out, but they come out with like 10 reasons why they're not on tour anymore, down to the point where Ariana got COVID.
Yes, and then Cynthia Erivo immediately got COVID to be in solidarity with her.
I'm sure she did after she lost her voice, because that was the original thing. Was supposedly Cynthia had lost her voice, and then Ariana got COVID, and then
You know, would have been dope is that they would have had some photos come out of Erivo, convalescing with Grande helping her recover, or like offering her
bringing her
tea.
soup and shit.
Yeah, yeah, bring her some soup. with those
Literally spoon
fingers.
feeding it to her.
The fingers.
Well,
With her fingernail. Yeah.
in the end,
There you go.
The last song in Wicked for Good is called For Good, and it's the big song with Glinda and Elphaba, and it's a song that like on stage has been making people cry for 20 years. And in this, I was just like, this is just the press tour, because it's them clutching at each other and crying and talking about how much they love each other. I'm like, I've been watching this for 3 months. It doesn't affect me in the least.
Yeah.
It's one movie I am not even going to watch on streaming.
Nope. I don't ever plan on seeing them.
I have
Like
no
Elf.
interest, absolutely zero interest in watching the movie.
Then we got Yellow Flash in the house. How you doing? He says, I'm glad Badlands tanked after the shills attacked anyone saying anything negative. They tried hard to guilt people into watching it.
That's true. That's true.
Who's they though? Who's they?
There was a contingency of the YouTube community and some of the critics and stuff.
That they went after people who didn't like it?
Yeah.
That's fucking
Yeah.
stupid.
Yeah, it was happening. I'm sure if you clicked on those X accounts today, it would show that they're from Bangladesh or something.
Well, and just to remind everybody,
What kind of dumb shit did Grace say this week?
she was the one who set off the whole firestorm, remember?
Yeah, she shouldn't have said anything. But
Yeah,
but on the
honestly-
other hand, it's one movie that has split the audience, I think, in a natural, unmolested way. Because, like I said, almost every single person that I know that has seen it likes it. I'm not going to give them a hard time for liking the movie.
I'm not going to give people a hard time that didn't like the movie.
Yeah, same thing.
It's like,
Exactly.
it's all
No,
good.
that's my point.
Why ever give anyone a hard time for their opinion on something? It's their opinion. It's
Well,
Well,
okay,
my
communist,
issue with this
thank you
whole
very
thing-
much.
My issue with the whole thing is in the top movies, you've got a movie that is based on a book from 30 years ago, and that's based on a movie from 90 years ago, and then you got fucking another movie that's a sixth or seventh sequel to a movie from 1987. You got a remake of a movie from 1987. I mean, you got like none of this shit is new except for Now You See Me, Now You Don't, which still is like a 10, 15-year-old franchise or more. Like none of this other. Like,
But there
is,
are
like,
a lot of
new.
original good films out. that
There are
really-
like The Rental
but-
Family and a few others.
But my point is that marketing takes over or lack thereof and completely fucks it up for these films. Really does. And I'm not just speaking out of my I don't like I'm talking to some people that I know. They're like, yeah, we'll make a film or we'll do this product, and then marketing takes it over. It's completely.
Here's the
different.
movie I'm looking forward to at the end.
me
of the
too.
year.
When does that come out?
Yeah, what is that? What is that? What is going on?
December. It's right around Christmas, ain't it? Because it's for the anniversary.
Oh, I can't
December
wait.
5th?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And for those who are only listening, we have to point out.
Oh,
which
yeah, the
films we're talking about.
Yeah, the Kill Bill Whole Bloody Affair being released in a few.
They're
Is it
putting,
both parts together?
yeah, I think it's
the
one
Whole
movie,
Bloody Affair.
but they're putting an intermission in the middle of it, which
Well,
I'm
they're
just like,
better.
no, just give it to me
Thank
as,
fuck.
No,
give it
no.
to me as
you
one
need an
movie.
intermission.
I can hold it.
No, I want an
No.
intermission. I don't give a shit. Bring the intermission back.
No,
Especially with
intermissions
this
are
whole
great.
this insistence in having movies that are over 2 hours long constantly. I'm sorry. Now
You
that
need an
I'm
intermission.
the age I am, you need a fucking intermission. I am so sick and tired of movies being so long and not being able to take a piss.
They're very
That's why
successful.
we watch them at home now.
Exactly. That or they need to start letting me use my popcorn bucket as a piss bucket and I don't get no tickets because
Oh,
goddamn
What do
it.
you mean? Who
I
doesn't
think the
let you?
people next to you might object to that.
Fuck them.
What kind of window should be, kind of implemented, like enforced? 45 days, 60 days, because that's another thing that's killing these films.
Oh, there shouldn't be a window at all. It should be until the movie's done playing.
Mm,
That's not a good business model, though. Like,
Oh, fuck, it ain't. That's the business model they used to have.
this is definitely going to get released on Blu-ray. The Kill Bill movie.
Yeah.
I'm
But
sure.
like, I mean,
no, but for real, Tom. Like,
no, I'm fucking serious. You want to know why? I just posted like 2 weeks ago. Who Framed Roger Rabbit took over a year to get to home video. There was tons of movies back in the day that took a long time to get to home video because they just played and played and played and played and
world
played in
now,
theaters.
dog. That's a total different world.
I
It doesn't
know, but
exist
that's what they
anymore.
got to get back to. This is what the theaters need too. They got to get back to this. Here's the biggest problem of all, and this goes back to let's take off the table all the stuff about innovating theaters and stuff that I was talking about before. Because at the end of the day, there was a few people who said it in the chat, and they're 100% right. It doesn't fucking matter how good the theaters are if the movies are shit, right?
Yes.
The whole thing that reinvigorated movies in the 80s was that they had a shit ton of good movies, and a lot of people wanted to go see them. So they're like, well, how do we make it to where more people can go see these movies? That's why they invented the multiplex.
Well,
The
that's why
1980s
they-
invented the multiplex. So now the problem is you don't have enough good movies to fill the theaters, to have enough movies that people want to go see, and that's a problem. So right off the bat, you got to start making movies that people actually want to fucking see. And we're not talking about Predator Badlands or a remake of something like Running Man or something like that, or even if it's a readaptation, I don't care what you call it. But you need to start making movie stars again. That's the first thing you got to do. You got to make people want to go see these people because it doesn't matter if the movie sucks or not, because guess what? I've seen a lot of movies that sucked back in the day. But you want to know the only reason I watched The Running Man? One reason and one reason only. Arnold fucking Schwarzenegger.
Arnold.
That's why I watched The Running Man.
Arnold.
You know, we didn't go to movies saying I'm going to see this movie unless it was something that was very specific, like Star Wars back in the day.
Right.
Otherwise, you were going to see the new Clint Eastwood movie. You were going to see the new Jim Carrey movie. You were going to see the insert your actor here.
Is it getting soft or pushing pencils?
So that's the first part, is you have to fix the actor. Secondly, then you got to get stories that are decent. Let's quit fucking relying on IPs. Get back into reading books. That's where most of the biggest hits of all time came from. Godfather, Jaws. Guess what? They started as fucking books. Wizard of Oz, Wicked for Good, also started as a book based on a movie, based on a book.
You got Timothy Chalamet. He's a new star.
He's the only thing they got. Even Glenn Powell, they're fucking up.
Well, Glenn Powell, but Glenn Powell's not a leading man. I've been saying
He
this.
will be if they were to nurture him
I-
He
correctly.
doesn't have it. He doesn't
I
have
think
it.
I think the last two guys in Hollywood right now who are
It's
like that you could
funny.
sell a movie based on their name is probably Chris Pratt and Tom Cruise.
Jason Statham.
No,
Yes,
they don't
okay.
make Statham doesn't make money.
Nah,
Yeah, he does.
walking.
Especially
He
internationally.
makes money at the right budget. That's the thing.
Not
But
just
I'm
that, but
Yeah, like
internationally.
he's not doing
I'm
$300
talking
million
about new
film.
stars, guys. You guys are mentioning old.
Oh, I
dudes.
agree with you. We need brand new
That's the
stars.
problem.
Timothy Chalamet is the
Young.
closest thing we got.
Austin
Zendaya.
Butler? No, fuck no.
Tom Holland. I would say Tom Holland has
and I
got
like,
name value
dude. I
right
like
now.
all these guys. I like Butler.
Well, the problem
I
with
like
Tom
Glenn Powell.
Holland, Marvin, is that everything he's done outside of Spider-Man has tanked.
True.
Gosling.
Ryan Gosling, I could see.
Ryan Gosling's as old as I am.
Yeah, but he's got all that Botox in his face. That face don't move, dog.
Doesn't matter how old he is; it matters what he looks like.
No, but he's like, well, I mean, that's kind of the whole thing with like good fortune. Like even guys like Keanu Reeves can't sell a movie anymore. That's another problem. Is these old? They're
But
relying
see,
a lot of.
what? That's where I disagree with you because I hear what you're saying. They didn't market that movie right, dog.
The trailers were fine. They just didn't put any money in the
They
marketing.
didn't back
Let's
it
say
up.
they didn't put it out there. Nobody knew about it. It was a bad name for the movie to begin with.
To me, this would have been a great to come out now. Good Fortune. Perfect for the holiday season.
Yeah, I agree. And the other thing is, and this is even though I had no problem with it, this movie has an issue that's similar to Renfield. I don't know why they insisted on making it R-rated. It's fine as an R-rated film, and
R-rated, really?
It's all because of the F words. There's just I think there's some tits and ass in it, and a couple. I think don't they end up in a strip club or something like that in one scene? I'm trying to remember now. Maybe I'm misremembering.
They end up dancing cool and eating tacos.
Oh, that's right. They're at the thing. Yeah, never mind. I was misremembering. It was something else.
Yeah, have tons of people being shot up with a gun. That's okay, but having a few F-bombs, you better protect the kids.
That's the South Park movie, exactly.
I do recommend Good Fortune, guys. Very nice. Good entertainment, guys. And you know what? Tom is right. Seth Rogen was actually pretty good.
It's one of the few movies he didn't make me want to punch him in the fucking face through the whole movie.
Right.
Maybe he
doesn't laugh once, I think, in the whole movie either.
Look, Hollywood's got to start making movies that people want to go see.
What were you going to say about Kill Bill, Chris?
That's what I'm getting at. They're not doing any projections on this Kill Bill because they don't know what it's going to do, because Hollywood still hasn't figured it out. That
I think it's going to do much more.
They're going to have a correction is when they start making movies that people want to go see. That's all there is to it. When nobody wants to go see another Jurassic Park, I mean, it did okay, but it's not going to make money. They can't budget for the things that people want to go see. It's like a hack. Or
there is one more thing, though. Yeah, there is one more thing to the equation, because it's not just the movies. Because Tom, you are of course right in.
Well, I said movie stars.
This is how it worked before, and this is and this is how it could work again. Yeah, movie stars plus more adaptations, everything. But the other big thing, and this goes to back to what Paulie was saying, is a different world right now. Most specifically, there's no more monoculture. It's all fractured and it's destroyed by social media.
Yeah.
And a big problem with that is that now you can have someone who is known to millions and millions and completely unknown to the rest of the planet, because people live in their own bubbles, partially in their own bubbles created by social media.
We lose him?
Sure.
Yeah, I think we lost him. Yeah, there he is.
I get what he's saying, but I mean, there were movies in '93 like Addams Family Values, The Fugitive. That's when Jurassic Park came out. I mean, there were movies being made, The Firm.
You can't compare. You can't compare.
Yeah,
of course, because the surrounding world is different.
And even the bad movies back then were pretty fucking good still.
Yeah, for sure. Last Action Hero and
Malice with Alec Baldwin.
Well, what's funny is the first two you mentioned are the only two that were based on any previous IPs.
Yeah,
that's what's hilarious about that. The Addams Family. And what was the other one you mentioned?
The Fugitive.
The Fugitive, yeah, because it was based on the TV show, but nobody knew that at the time.
Hardly
anybody remembered the fucking Fugitive TV show. But like, that's the thing, is they used to do those kind of things, but everything else that came out was either based on a book or an original idea.
Yeah.
And I mean, don't get me wrong, I love comic book movies, but comic book movies ruined the industry. Comic book movies basically did to the entire movie industry what Scream did to horror for a while. Andre probably knows where I'm getting at from this. Because now you have this part. Yeah, and there's maybe a video in it for you, Andre, because like Scream was this thing where it's like horror was always everybody, I love how everybody says horror's back. It's like horror never fucking went anywhere. The only time horror does anything is when you do a movie like Scream or the new Halloween movie, and it makes a shit ton of money, or The Conjuring, where it makes a shit ton of money and people pay attention. Otherwise, if horror movies are doing great again, or horror is back, that just tells me everything else is doing shit. Why? Because look at something like Black Phone 2 for a great example. Movie probably cost what? $1.50 to make, made $70 million at the box office.
Yep.
Nobody said shit. Guess what? It did fine though, and that's all that matters, because horror is cheap and it's been around forever. It's been this mainstay of the B movies forever, since back in the day. Like it's the same thing with every other kind of movie. It's just you got to find a way to make them work.
Well, I think with this year too, like with horror,
but my point with the superhero movies is that they made it to where every movie has to be $200 million, whether it's a fucking rom-com or this or that and the other, and they have to market it like a superhero movie. But you were saying, Paulie, sorry.
No, we need to get the super chats. Let's.
Yeah, we need to get moving.
Yeah, let's go.
So let's go to Pilgrim Media next, who has the Borg plot lines, best part of TNG, my opinion. I think that's most people's favorites.
Agreed.
From that.
Although I did always
I am
like
about
the mirror universe stuff too.
I am about to get to the Borg plot lines on TNG. I'm watching TNG for the first time.
Ooh, enjoy the journey.
Yeah,
I've never actually watched it in order. I got to do that. Maybe we should do that together, Marvin. Blade Ribbon says, how many Snyder Bros are accounts from India? Almost all of them.
Oh, gotta be.
Significant amount.
Significant amount.
We're about to find out.
Saudi. Action Con has been a member for 27 months and sends in a super chat to say, Marvin, how do you explain the discrepancy between the success failure of Snow White and Wicked? Both girl properties, both annoying actors, but one worked.
I can actually explain this pretty well. The press for Wicked, the lead up to Wicked, was a love letter to Wicked. This is one of the greatest musicals of all time, and we are bringing it to the screen in a new way, but in a way that honors the original. And Steven Schwartz was working with them on it, whereas Snow White was just like, the original is racist and terrible, and you're all stupid for liking it, and that's why it failed.
That's part of it. The other part is Snow White, and I made this argument when the movie came out. You take 10 Disney princess fans, like little girls, right? And maybe a couple boys, just to be whatever. You ask all of them who their favorite Disney princess is, not a single fucking one of them is going to say Snow White.
Yeah,
Not
I agree.
one.
I agree.
You'll get like 3 Moanas. You'll get maybe 1 or 2 Ariels. You might get a Belle. And maybe a couple other new ones, like Tangled or whatever. What's her name? Rapunzel. But you won't get one Snow White. Because why? Because Snow White is just not popular.
It is a culturally important movie in that it was the first, animated feature, but it is not. It has never been one of their most popular films. Also, it looked horrifying. The CGI was terrible. It was reshot a million times, and you could tell. So at least the CGI in Wicked and the sets and the costumes all looked good in the trailer for people that like that.
And Wizard of Oz has a built-in audience. See, that's the other thing. And that's one of the reasons I have an issue with this, is because that audience has now mutated and combined with this audience. See, the queer community always embraced the Wizard of Oz, but now they're acting like the Wizard of Oz was always gay.
Well, Ariana Grande flat out said it. She said that the L. Frank Baum books are about being gay. And I'm like, no, they're not.
No, they're not.
Sometimes a cigar is just a cigar.
Well, they're misrepresenting this whole connection with Judy Garland and the Somewhere Over the Rainbow song, and how they adopted the rainbow, and how throughout the 80s that kind of became the symbol of the gay icon was, Judy Garland. It's, we're not in Kansas anymore kind of shit. Yeah. Like, that's all it was. It had nothing to do with any like underlying bullshit.
Noah's Ark is all about the gay struggle. Come on.
Right.
And it's perfectly fine, by the way, to say my personal circumstances, I identify them with this movie. There's nothing wrong with that. But to say this movie is ours, that's where I start to be like, no, like it's everybody's. Everybody can have their own take on it.
But that's also I didn't thing. I lived in the gay part of Toronto for 4 years.
I'm not shocked.
That's part of the shtick that they do. They'll grab something that isn't gay and then make it their gay. Own, and it was fun. I mean, back in the day, that kind of stuff was really hilarious.
And it's interesting you say that, because now Ziegler is doing the whole Broadway, getting that, amassing that gay following, and that's smart. That's what Arrivo did. I didn't hear your reasons, Montanero. I'm sure they're awesome. But I just basically, to me, a despicable lead with Snow White with just a weirdo, very talented lead in Wicked. That's really it.
Well,
Cynthia Erivo's a weirdo too, but she wasn't as pronounced.
Oh, I meant Arrivo.
And the obvious of Wicked is that it's been playing on Broadway for 30 plus years now, so that's why.
You're correct. It's selling out right now. Correct.
That's the thing.
It's a big one. That's a big one.
It's almost like this movie. See, this movie has been in development hell for so long. Like, if anything, I bet you $5 the Wicked movie would have done even better had it come out 20 years ago. when the
Probably
play was even bigger and more talked about. Because now it almost kind of fell off a little bit in the last few years. This kind of reinvigorated it, if anything.
Yeah, Paulie, the point that I made was that like the marketing for Wicked was all celebrating Wicked and celebrating this is the greatest musical of all time, and we're bringing it to you. Whereas Snow White was lambasting the original Snow White like throughout the marketing. So I think that's part of it.
I agree, and I think you're right on that. And honestly, I think Paul, you may have made this point before, so I don't want to act like I'm thinking of it myself or anything like that. And I'm sure many others have before. The thing I don't understand about Disney, what they should have done with this stuff, is had they gone to like they did with Lion King on Broadway and some of the other stuff, why didn't they go and take their classic films, reinvigorate them on Broadway, then do live action versions of those versions? I think people would have been a little bit more accepting if you would have come in and done something like that, because then you could also build up new starlets and stuff like that through the Broadway system.
This has got nothing to do with Disney, but I would love to see a movie version of the Broadway version of Shrek, which I was completely shocked at how good.
And I think that's when we had kind of talked about it before. I was going to say, like, yeah, that makes more sense to me.
Man,
because like
was
I said the same about
really, really underrated live.
Well,
I said the same about the Beetlejuice musical. The Beetlejuice Broadway musical, I think is better than the movie.
Well, they're talking about doing that with Back to the Future. And I said, this is why I don't understand why they didn't do it with Footloose. Like, what was it, 5-10 years ago when they redid Footloose? Because when they remade that, I'm like, I thought that's what they were doing at first. I thought they were doing the Broadway play version as a movie. And I'm like, that actually makes sense. Just remaking Footloose and just using the old music makes no fucking sense.
They just did it with Mean Girls, and that had no cultural impact.
It's same kind of thing. But I mean, you can do it. I think they could, because the producers and some of these other movies have been able to do it now. To me, I think the audience is a little more accepting of that. And I think maybe we'll maybe need a Back to the Future for something like that to happen. But I can't believe Disney didn't think of going that route.
Back to the Future needs to never be in theaters again in any form other than the original 3 movies. Never remake it. Never make a movie of the musical. Never, ever, 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 ever. I
have a feeling, and this is my hunch, Margaret, and we got to move on anyway, is that for some reason Bob Zemeckis and Bob Gale will allow that fucking musical to be made as a movie you watch within the next 5 years. Tom Holland is going to be singing as Marty McFly.
We'll see.
I have a feeling. And then Connor Dorian Charlie Mink says, did you forget that they are making sequel to Tom Holland's Uncharted movie?
I think
they are.
Yeah.
Well, that's because Sony pre-sells all these movies to
Tom,
Amazon.
Tom's busy with the Odyssey and Brand New Day. It'll be a while.
Yeah.
Tom, to back for 1 second. I know we gotta end, but the Back to the Future thing. There's only a musical of Back to the Future 1. That means they'd have to write musicals for Back to the Future 2 and 3, and they would not be good.
Lord hopes they wouldn't. But yeah, I'm surprised they're doing this, but I'm also not at the same time, because I'm sure it can sell, like I said, to a streamer. And I'm surprised they're not rebooting Uncharted altogether, but. Noggers, a script by Paul Chatto.
I can do that.
About the eggnog
the eggnoggers, yes.
And I figured this out, like the best way to market movies, I think Running Man would have been a hit had they just said Running Man, not starring Pedro Pascal, coming to theaters this Friday. We guarantee Pedro Pascal is not in this movie. If you market every movie like that going forward, I think your movies would do much better.
What movie did that where somebody came out and was like,
no, one of the actors, I'm trying to remember who it was.
Naked Gun. You're thinking of
Naked
Gun.
Yeah, he said Pedro Pascal is not in our movie. Yeah. Which I just got that Blu-ray. That movie was much better than it had the fucking right to be.
This just came in.
Oh no. And he'd keep the mustache for E.T. I love that.
The problem is Ice is the bad guy in this one. That's the issue.
Pedro Pascal confirmed to play E.T. in the 2026 remake. Now filming. Yeah.
But why would E.T. need to build a phone when cell phones are everywhere now? It just makes
gotta get a calling. It's calling cards, man. There's
just needs calling
arm and a leg.
Burner phone,
yeah.
Burner phone. Yeah.
Ruby Hoove gifted a membership and has been here for 17 months. Thank you, Ruby. And then Barry the Music Man, how you doing? It says Marvin is closeted Snyder bro.
Yeah.
Gay.
You got me.
Honestly, I mean, even as a Snyder bro at this point, I would be like, come on, guys.
Enough is enough. Like
Like,
you're lucky you got the movie you got, that they caved on you for one time, and it's just made them even more like, if we're loud enough, they'll give us anything we want.
they're their own worst enemies at the end of the day, because that's kind of what my people were telling me, is that they got to a point where they were so bad that they were like making threats and sending constant emails to people in the studio and all. It's like it got to a point where the switchboard, like phone calls would come in, and they would say, if it's anything about the Snyder stuff, just take a note,
Take a number, leave a message at the tone,
and send them on their way. And then the message would never get passed on, because they were just consistently bothering them. And it's probably, the sad part is it's only like 4 or 5 people probably, but yeah. Anyway, that being said, let's round out here. Paulie, what you got coming up?
I want to end this pain. Well, we got more pain coming up because me and Chato are going live right now. So come on by. We're gonna talk some more. We're actually gonna talk about some great stuff, including the last Samurai Standing. And I'm gonna pick your brain about the X-Files pilot that you did a video on. So come on by, guys.
Maybe workshop some script ideas.
Yeah. Eggnog.
Yeah. And no
Paul.
gay. No no gay in the Latino.
No gay.
No
Okay.
gay.
No gay, no pain. No pain, no gay.
Whoa.
I don't know. Is one thing I would want to mention. I just read something about Paramount is still in the lead run on buying Warner Brothers, because I just heard over the weekend, and this is no joke, that they want CNN, and they're the only ones making an offer that includes CNN. So
I heard that as well. I'm looking into that as well today.
Yeah, the Warner Brothers war heats up.
Well,
Mm-hmm.
I was hobnobbing with some Warner Brothers executives this weekend.
Oh yeah.
Cool.
No shit. I did not know. And it's very interesting how they feel about their boss. Very.
I've said this. A lot of people inside the studio.
That was a great conversation.
I could probably almost guess how it went.
Yeah. I mean, we talked about a lot of stuff. Yeah. And they're in the television department. So I was just like, we were going off. Yeah.
I've never seen a studio or a situation like this with the Zaslav thing. It's just insane. And I keep getting accused of being like a gun glazer and stuff like that all the time. It's like all of it stems from the fact that I just kind of set people straight on Zaslav and the situation over at Warner Brothers. And I'll be the first one to tell you that everybody in that studio is working against him regardless. Like there's only a few people that aren't. But anyhow, let's wrap this up. We got Marvin. Did you get to plug your wares yet? I don't think you did.
No, check out with Thursday being Thanksgiving, we're not going to have a Toonie Talk TV on Thursday, but I believe we're going to have one on Friday night. It's going to be a very special one because it's going to be our first game stream where me and the crew are going to be playing Mario Kart.
Gay stream? First gay stream? What?
Well, no, we've done plenty of those. But we put the gay in game stream. But no,
it was the gayest stream ever.
Gayest stream you've ever seen.
The gayest stream ever.
Make sure you're checking out geeksandgamers.com and thatparkplace.com every single day for all the news that should be fun.
I was gonna say you sounded more like Trump there, like King. It sounds like Trump. It's the gayest stream ever. It's so gay. It's super gay. Chris, what you got going on? Bleeding Fool.
Gay. Bleeding Fool's happening, man. It's where all the happening kids are going, all the hep dudes. Bleedingfool.com, at Bleeding Fool on X. We've got, some stories going on over there right now. This morning we started talking about how this was the worst box office summer since 1981. And we break that down for you. You can also find out how Disney is ditching DEI because, I guess it's about time. And to do a little story on that recently discovered in an attic copy of Superman #1 that just fetched over $9 million at auction.
Wow.
Yeah, we talked about that last week.
Bleedingfool.com. Hey, and I'm looking forward to Midnight's Edge in the Morning episode 800. I think that's Wednesday, Hump Day, yeah?
Coming this Wednesday. That is correct. That is
Yes.
indeed correct.
Hope to be
Yeah.
here. Thanks, guys.
Before we get to that, Tom, did we get through all the Rumble rants?
Let me double check. I think there is one.
Yeah,
We got
sure.
Horseradish Power says Wicked 2 isn't the news. It's the box office for the rest. Utterly terrible numbers. Yeah, that's what I was saying, Horseradish. And speaking of the numbers, let's not forget the previews bulking up Wicked 2's end numbers a 4-day weekend, basically. Yeah.
Oh, it was
it's
the
true.
preview starting Monday. Yeah, 30.8 million. But
Yeah.
hey,
And then
Money's
and then
money.
money's
yeah, and then we
money,
got
dog. You know?
Crouching Taylor Hidden Swift, who says, I want Wicked to do well so that when the modern agenda-driven Oz remake comes out and fails, they can't blame the audience because Wicked did succeed. That would be an interesting twist. I could see that happening.
I can totally see them making a direct sequel to Wicked. Like they should have decided, you know what? Let's just continue this. We're now remaking The Wizard of Oz in this style.
Yeah,
Why
I can
wouldn't
see
they?
that.
I mean, it's a perfect financial decision. So I honestly be more surprised if they didn't. And I
Well-
just consider this: a bunch of people thought that Batman Begins was a prequel to Batman '89 up until they made The Dark Knight, and then we're surprised. Well, they did a sequel to it. We'll do the polar opposite of that here.
I could
Make
see
it-
him
make
doing
it
that.
sequel.
Well,
you have the
Oz the
problem
Great and
now is that all
Powerful
the
was
people-
terrible. Just
Actually, I didn't mind that one as much.
it was awful.
But
Sam
it was
Raimi.
better than I thought it was going to be.
Okay.
But
Okay.
I mean, that's just me personally. I mean, I just like, oh, I thought it
That
was gonna
kind
be
of like
wretched.
is more canon to.
It is actually canon. It's one of the only official. Okay, so
Alright.
there's a prequel, the movie, and the sequel. There is a trilogy of The Wizard of Oz that is
There is.
technically canon together, and that is the original Wizard of Oz, the Return to Oz because Disney bought the rights to it, and they also still own the rights when they did the Oz Great and Powerful. So those three films are technically legally connected.
and Osmosis Jones.
No, that has nothing to do with the rest, Paulie. The Godfather 3 is a sequel to it.
Damn
Great
it!
callback.
Y'all just
But
don't
anyhow,
want black. Y'all just don't want
Osmosis
black
Jones.
people in Wizard of Oz.
You just don't want no black people in Oz. That's what it is.
Why
He's
are we
on down. He's
persisting
on
this
down the
thing?
road.
I thought the Wicked Witch of the West was black. Wait a minute. Hold on. Cynthia is not black.
She was last I checked. Now
Yeah.
she
What
is, I
about the
guess.
Wiz? Is that in there? Is there anyone
Oh, the
talking about
fucking
be.
Wiz is
The
awesome.
Wiz?
The Wiz is awesome. See, now that's when they did it right. It's like
Right.
if you're gonna do this shit, do it right. Go
Yeah,
all
with a really
way.
old Dorothy.
Hey,
Come on.
she's
And Michael
still
Jackson.
performing live. Like, you
Well,
can't say that.
performing.
Well, it's funny because I remember asking Paul.
She
'cause I'm
sounds
like,
amazing.
you were old enough to probably remember this, and I remember asking him this. I was like, you know, when the original Wiz came out, what was the issue? Because I remember there was no issue. He goes, yeah, you're right. The only issue that everybody was bitching about was that what's her face was too fucking old to be playing
Yeah,
Dorothy.
that was it.
Yeah,
And
that
Ross.
was it.
Yeah, we were people
started
were
the
bitching
time.
about Ross being too old.
Diana
That was
Ross,
it.
yeah.
And she had a
Because she was in
bad.
like her
she had a
40s,
bad-
wasn't
had
she
a
at the
bad-
time?
She just had a bad wig. It just wasn't a good wig.
Oh, the wig is horrible.
There were a
But-
lot of wigs that were bad.
But
But
Nipsey
the
Russell,
movie,
man, we're back.
but the movie itself, nobody said shit. That was my whole point. It was because they just went in and went all out with it, and it's the Wiz. But anyhow, I think everybody got to plug their wares. So Andre, get us out of here.
Yeah, let's bring out the koalas in the rain.
Koalas in the rain, koalas in the rain, no fucks given. Koala, koala, koalas in the rain, koalas in the rain, no fucks given. Koala, koala, koalas in the rain, koalas in the rain, no fucks given.